Let's talk about the Park City market. What's happening? What's going on? What's the outlook? What do you need to know if you're a buyer? What do you need to know if you're a seller? What do you need to know if you're an investor? So if you are looking to buy a home in Park City, Utah, I think the important thing that you need to understand is that you're not going to be able to time the market. And I think the time to get a deal on a property was from last June when the interest rates skyrocketed, basically all the way till the kind of the end of March. And the cat is sort of out of the bag now because we've been just looming recession, negative news headlines. People have been waiting, not wanting to buy. Some people, were forced out of the market because they just couldn't simply afford it with the high interest rates. But if you're somebody that could afford it and you keep waiting and waiting and waiting, then I think you're kind of buying for the wrong reason, because it's never going to be the right time. The only thing that can dictate when it's a good time to buy a house is if it's the right season of life for you. So the important thing to know is that Park City is a very high demand area. It really hasn't become any less popular over the years. There are still a lot of people who want to buy houses here. I've helped a lot of people already since the beginning of the year buy homes here. Many of them were actually up against multiple offers in February, crazily enough. And you also need to know that due to the high demand of homes, that there are certain properties that are more competitive than other ones. You might think that there's property that's been sitting on the market for a while, and there are those properties, but there are also properties that are priced well, in good condition, have desirable style, they've been staged well. They're just a property that people want. Those are the properties that go really fast, and those are the properties that are still getting multiple offers. The third thing that you need to know is really that home prices are not going down, they're going up. They're not going up as crazy as they were during the COVID eras, but we're still going up. And later in this video, we're actually going to jump back to my office. I'm going to do a screen share. I'm going to share kind of the prices with you, what you need to know if you are thinking of selling your property. Well, first off, there's still high demand in Park City. People still want to buy houses. However, they don't want to buy something that's overpriced, dated, and needs a lot of work, and that is in poor condition. So for the homes that are well maintained, in good condition, that are updated, and that are priced fairly, those are the desirable homes, and people want to buy them. Homes that are generally in original condition, that are overpriced, that are going to sit on the market longer, and that's just that. You also need to know that there are 7 factors that affect the sale of your home. The first factor is price. The second factor is location. The third factor is condition of the property. The fourth factor is amenities. Fifth factor is what is happening in the market. Do we have high demand? What's going on with the inventory? What's happening with the economy? The sixth factor is financing. Where are interest rates? That greatly affects buyers being able to purchase a home. Seventh is marketing. So if you know, marketing a house is really the only one that a real estate agent can control. And the one that fixes all of these problems is price. So if you have a dated home, or you have a home that's not in great condition and you don't want to update it, guess what fixes your home being able to sell? The price of it. It's also important to know that different price points move faster than other price points. The really hot spot in Park City is about $1.5 million. For whatever reason, that is everybody's budget. That is where everybody wants to land. That is where most of the homes are selling, is in that $1.5 to $2 million range. Now, most homes in Park City are well above that price point. There are more condo prices. It's also important to know that there are neighborhoods that are really popping and really popular, and then sometimes they cool off. Like if you'll notice, sometimes Park Meadows is on fire and then it really cools down. Same with Jeremy. Sometimes Jeremy Ranch is on fire and then it will cool down. Other times the Heber Valley is going insane. Like Heber is going insane right now because that's where all the $1.5 million properties are. You need to be at least $2 million to get into a home in Park City. And understanding that interest rates have come down some, they're not wonderful, but they have come down. So understanding where interest rates are, where they're going. If they're going up, that probably means that the housing market's just going to stay a little bit cooler. But if they come down, be prepared. That could make the housing market go boom. And I got in trouble for saying this once because I said, no amount of good marketing will help an ugly house sell faster. Not a very gentle way to say it, but it's just meaning that if your house has the wrong paint colors, your house has the wrong furniture on the inside, your house isn't staged, it's in more of original condition. Like, I don't know if you've noticed this, but go look at all the houses that are for sale. Go look at stuff that is that 90s yellow beige, that has those really warm tones, it just does not show very well in photos. It doesn't show well in photos. It doesn't show well in listing videos. It's just not a good color for photos. And you might not think anything of it, because when you're in a house, you feel great. It feels so warm. It feels so comfortable. It feels so inviting. Like you don't think anything of it. But when you see it in a photo, it looks like a burnt barbecue buffalo chicken wing. So the best way to combat that is to have really neutral colors on the inside of your home. Grays, neutrals, whites. Warm colors just tend to oversaturate photos, and they don't look good in photos, and they do not look good in listing videos. I think something that you need to know also as a seller is we still have low inventory, right? There's still high demand. And again, the properties that are priced right, that are desirable, that people want, that are in good condition are still going really, really fast. And I think something to consider too is that the amount of snow that we've had this entire season could really deter a lot of people from selling till later in the summer, simply because there's still snow on the ground, so people's yards don't look good. The leaves have not bloomed, the flowers are not blossoming, like it's kind of dead and brown right now. And also the amount of snow that we got like damaged people's roofs, they damaged people's homes. There's a lot of maintenance and things that need to be fixed before you can probably even list your house in some of these areas. Like people's roofs collapsed because of the amount of snow that we had. You know, it wrecked if you have a wood house, it probably took a huge beating. I know homes in Summit Park probably, they are going to be waiting to thaw out for a while. I know a lot of people who had decks collapse. Like there's just a lot of things that this amount of snow that we had this season kind of is going to make it tougher for people to sell their house, because they're going to have to fix a lot of things before they can even actually get it listed. There's also something that is also keeping sellers from selling is that the people who bought homes in the last 2 years, which was a lot of people, right? They're locked in at like a 2.5% interest rate. And going to something that is 6% is just not like appealing. So those people are not selling, they're sitting. So that is also keeping inventory very, very low. And the third thing that you need to know as a seller is that all real estate markets are local, meaning that using a Salt Lake agent, look, I'm sure there are some great Salt Lake agents. However, they are not part of the Park City board, which means they don't get access to the Park City MLS. They don't get access to the Park City specific like real estate forms for contracts. They don't get access to all the correct data. Most of the time, if I go onto the Wasatch Front MLS, which is like for the entire state of Utah, the numbers are completely wrong because half the listings don't even get listed on that MLS. So it makes it look like prices are much, much lower than they actually are. So the only way to get super accurate data and to know what is actually sold and have the correct comparables and have the correct numbers and have the printout that I always give you guys, that I always say, hey, email me if you want this printout, the quarterly update printout from the Park City Board of Realtors. The only people that have access to that data are real estate agents who are members of the Park City Board. I'm a member of the Park City Board. I don't want to sell a house in Logan. I will refer somebody to sell a house in Logan. So it's always kind of mind-boggling to me when Salt Lake agents come up to Park City because they don't really know the market up here. Like, they should just refer it to somebody so that they're not doing their seller a disservice. I would be really doing somebody a disservice by trying to sell a house in St. George because I don't know the market in St. George. St. George also has a private MLS. So Park City and St. George, they consider themselves special. We have a separate MLS from the state of Utah. However, there are some properties from Park City that do get listed on the Utah MLS. However, your data is going to be more accurate if you use a Park City real estate agent. Not to mention, they also live in Park City most of the time, and they know the neighborhoods, and they know the area, and they know what's happening in the market. So you want somebody with hyper local market knowledge that can give you accurate data to help you price your home correctly, to give you the correct amount of time for days on market, to understand the absorption rate, to understand what's actually taking place in Park City, who's buying, if there's a lot of buyer demand for this type of property, if this area is slower, if this price point is a little bit slower. Those are all things that you want to know before you're thinking of selling your house, so you can get your expectations set straight from the beginning. What do you need to know if you're an investor? Well, if you're an investor, I think it's important to know that Park City appreciation is the real deal. You're parking your money in a really strong and stable market. It's not a place that is necessarily going to give you high annual returns, but it's going to give you a humongous profit when you buy it, you hold it, you let it appreciate, and you sell it down the line. And it has a strong rental market, so you can nightly rent out your unit. You could even put a long-term renter in there to help offset some of the cost of ownership and HOA fees and property management fees and maintenance and repairs and assessments and master HOA fees and property taxes and utilities and all the things that come with owning real estate, right? Welcome to homeownership. If you're thinking of buying for an investment, there is still high demand. There are a lot of people, we are 50-50. So we're 50% vacation homeowners and second homeowners, and 50% primary residents live in Park City. And then also, if you're buying as an investor, it's really important to understand the rules and the regulations of the short-term rental market. There's high competition here, right? There's like 8,000 nightly rentals. So where you're buying, location, amenities, style, why you're buying, the fees associated with it, understanding that certain HOAs aren't going to let you nightly rental out, or there might be a minimum of 7 days, or there might be a minimum of 30 days. There's a lot of places that let you rent it out nightly, but there are also a lot of places that, no, we don't want transient homeownership. We want year-round people living here, or at least you're renting out to somebody that is going to year-round live in that unit. And again, obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. I've listened to so many economists where they're saying there's a recession coming, there's not a recession coming, we're fine. What I do know is that Utah has a really strong job market, which is really important. Utah's home prices are continuing to go up. Park City isn't really a place that has recessions. There's so much wealth. There's a lot of affluent people that live here. All of our real estate is very expensive. It's just an area that does really, really well, even if there is a recession. And keep this in mind, if we continue to have low inventory because people don't want to sell because of interest rates, and people are waiting to put their house on the market because of how harsh the winter was and they need to fix things up, and they want to wait till it is actually summer and the yard looks nice, we're going to continue to have low inventory. And if the interest rates drop, which I've been talking to a lot of lenders, and they said the housing market's about to go boom because the interest rates are going to drop. So if we have low inventory and low interest rates, that means we're going to have a highly competitive market again. Just something to keep in mind. Do I know if these things are going to happen? I am not sure. I just talk to lenders and people, and I do my research too. But if you're listening to the news, if you're listening to the doomsdays, I think you've just kind of already lost, because all real estate markets are local. So you need to know what's happening in your local area, even down to a local neighborhood, because Park City is hyper segmented and every single neighborhood is different. Every single property type is different. And so it's just important to know what type of property do you have, what is the location that you're in, and all of that. Let's go back to my office. Let's jump on the computer, and I'm going to show you some numbers and stats.
This slide is for single family homes in the Park City limits, which is the 84060. This is for condos in the Park City limits. This slide is for condos and townhomes in the Park City limits. So these are townhomes. This is for the Basin, Snyderville Basin single family homes. This is for condos, multi-unit in Snyderville Basin. This is for townhomes in Snyderville Basin. This is for land in Snyderville Basin. This is for single-family homes in the Jordanelle area. This is for condo multi-units in the Jordanelle area. This is for townhomes in the Jordanelle area. And this is for land in the Jordanelle area. This is for the Heber Valley. These are single-family homes. This is for a condo townhome in the Heber Valley. And this is for land in the Heber Valley. This is for single-family homes in the Camas Valley. This is for land in the Camas Valley. And this is the Canyons Village. This is a neighborhood kind of breakdown. Gives you absorption rate, average days on the market. This is for Old Town. And this is for Midway. And those are just neighborhoods that I chose based off of pure interest. I would like to thank Rick Klein for providing these next slides. Now, the way that you read this is very important. The red is COVID. The black is current. Condos are taking about 3.1 months to sell. If you're under 1.6 million, it's about 2.8 months. If you're over 1.6 million, it's 3.5 months. For a single family home, it's 6.7 months. Under 3.9 million, it's about 3.9 months. And over 3.9 million, it's about 9.6 months. For a Snyderville Basin condo, it's about 4.2 months if you're under, 999, 3.2 months if you're over, 999, 5.1 months. If you're a single family, about 5.6 months. If you're under 1.9, 2.3 months. If you're over 1.9, it's about 9 months to sell your house. For the Heber Valley or Wasatch County, for a single family home, it's about 6.3 months. If you're under 955, 3.3 months. If you're over 955, 9.4 months. Again, the red is COVID and the black is 2023. This price is median prices for the greater Park City area of condos, single family, and vacant land, going all the way back from January of 2001 all the way to January of 2022. As you can see, prices in the long run in Park City, Utah have appreciated at 6.6%. This is a question that I'm often asked, especially when people are looking to buy here or they're wondering if it's a good place to park your money. It also illustrates that the longer you wait to buy, the more you're going to pay because Park City appreciation is the real deal. The story is we're down in units sold, but prices are still going up. So the questions that we need to ask ourselves are closings down because there's no inventory or because of high interest rates? I think both. As always, if you would like a neighborhood breakdown of single family, condos, and land by area, by specific neighborhood, then please email me. My information is always dropped down in the description link down below. And this is the same PDF that I share in a lot of my other market updates in Park City. However, it's just not out yet. So if you email me, it might actually take me a few days to get you this document because it's simply just not here yet. Also, this document is not just 2 pages, it's like 42 pages. It is a massively intensive breakdown on all the neighborhoods of Park City and all the areas of Park City. So it's really, really important and an amazing tool to really understand the Park City market and how hyper-local segmented we are and how important it is to understand that each neighborhood is completely different and what happens in each neighborhood is also completely different.